Good evening. We are so glad to have you with us this evening. We have a fantastic show prepared for you. We have two outstanding young ladies here, and they're going to be talking to you about GeroFit. And of course, we have to ask the question, what is GeroFit? And we'll answer that question as we go on. But right now, I just want to introduce the two ladies that are here. And we have Melissa and we have Amani. And I'm going to ask them individually to tell you something about themselves, where they're from, how they got into GeroFit, and then we'll later talk about what GeroFit is. We're going to start with Melissa. Melissa, tell us something about yourself.
So my name is Melissa, and I am a registered kinesiotherapist. I've been with the VA for almost 14 years now, 12 of which have been with the Las Vegas VA. And I am from San Diego originally, but have been in Vegas for the last 12 years. I've been doing KT though for about 14 total. And we got into GeroFit mainly because we wanted to help keep you guys active.
And we need that.
Yes.
Okay. Amani?
So my name is Imani. I am also a registered kinesiotherapist. I was introduced into the Las Vegas VA in 2021 where I was immediately put into GeroFit. So I've been working with GeroFit now for 3 years.
Fantastic. And where are you from originally?
I am from Mississippi.
Oh, okay. We would have never known by that accent. But watching both ladies and participating in the program, I'm just thrilled to have them here on the show. But because we have so many people from Nye County and Clark County that are listening, what is GeroFit? Can you tell us something about what this is all about?
Absolutely.
Either one of you.
Yeah, so GeroFit is a program that was started back in 1986 at the Durham VA, and it's for veterans specifically to help promote exercise, health, and wellness. It's a group exercise program that's supervised by 3 of us now, but the 2 of us sitting here. And ultimately, we do things like strength, balance, cardio, flexibility, just to keep you guys active and moving.
Okay. Now, you talked about eligibility.
Yes.
How do you actually be eligible for the program?
So there's a number of eligibility criteria that we look for. The key thing, though, here is that veterans need to be 65 or older for our program. Along with that, you need to be enrolled in the VA. So hopefully those of you are enrolled in the VA. Medically stable, and a lot of the times we need to make sure that you are able to function independently without having to have support or assistance or supervision at all times.
Explain that. Kind of break that down for us of what you're really saying on that.
Sure. So those of you that may need a little extra care, a little extra help around the home, maybe you can't quite do some of the activities that you would like to do on your own and you require people to help you maybe get up from a chair or to be able to stand up on your own, that sort of stuff. We need you to be able to be a little more functional and a little more independent. Because it is a group exercise program and there's only 3 of us that run the program, you need to be a little more independent so we don't have to do so much one-on-one treatment, just because there are so many people enrolled.
Now, I do have to ask, and it's not something we've discussed, but you're watching us on the monitors. And I know, if anybody passes out or anything else from the exercise, you're there to dial 911 for us to make sure we're okay. How do you manage that? Because you're doing all the exercises, you're staying with us, and I'm at home doing the exercises with you. Thoroughly enjoying it, by the way. It is an hour of intense exercise. And we love it. We need it. But how do you manage that when you're there? You also play music for us to keep us going.
Yes. So should there be any emergencies, especially for those that are participating on virtual, one of the staff members that is there will take the responsibility to call for the emergency services and take that on while the rest of the team is continuing to do the exercise. So we will always have one staff member available should there be any emergency needs like that.
Oh, this is beautiful. And again, very worthwhile. Now, you talked about the eligibility. What would keep somebody, say, ineligible from participating in your program?
So one of the things is, as I had mentioned, you need to be 65 or older. So if you are 64 or younger, unfortunately, you aren't quite there yet. So that's one of the biggest exclusion criteria for us. A few of the other ones would be if you have something like unstable chest pain that hasn't really been resolved or really taken control of by a doctor. If you are on supplemental oxygen, if you're having a little bit of problem breathing and they have to require you to be on oxygen, unfortunately, we can't have you in the program. And things like being able or unable to do your ADLs, your activities of daily living, if you're unable to do those sort of things, then that kind of stipulates you from not being in there. And then if you have cognitive issues, so unfortunately, if you're having issues that are diagnosed as dementia or Alzheimer's, we unfortunately can't take those as well.
Wow. But we still have so many people that are eligible, and I guess that's the thing that we really want to talk about. Now, you've mentioned virtual and you've mentioned in person. So if somebody can't travel to the VA, can they still participate?
Yes, so as Dr. Tom Waters here, he participates in our virtual option. And so the virtual option is something that we actually came up with in the midst of COVID to be able to reach those that we can't come into a facility and, we have to do the social distancing. So that started back then. And that virtual program is for those that live farther away that can't get to the hospital for on-site, or even those that have difficulty with transportation issues. So maybe you don't have a car or trying to get onto local transportation or even signing up for transportation, that might be challenging. Okay. And so we offer that virtual option so that you can still get exercise at home.
How about in person?
So in person is at the main facility at the VA on Pecos. We offer that also several times a week as well, which we'll get into a little bit more as we go on. That is definitely on site though. So it's a group coming on during our different scheduled times to exercise at the VA.
Now, there are a lot of, I'm going to say a lot of benefits to the program, but you can tell us what the real benefits are. I know it definitely helps me, and I know it helps those others that are participating, but what are the real benefits?
So the most important one is obviously that it's going to get you more physically active to improve the health. The more you are physically active, the hope is that too, you may be able to start coming off some medications. You'll have less frequent maybe hospital visits. So those are some of the big things to try to help reduce is the fact that you're being more physically active. Aside from that, it helps mental health as well as physical. You're in with other veterans, so it's a social aspect, being able to speak with other veterans and being part of a community. GeroFit's really a community. As well as just having the energy helps with weight loss, the more active you are, of course. So it definitely promotes a lot of different areas of health and wellness. And it's really great for anybody that wants to be a little more physically active, or maybe you're not so much. It would definitely be something to help get you moving and get you in the right direction. I'd like to think that we're pretty motivating. I would like to think so.
You're definitely motivating. Definitely motivating. Now, we have a lot of people that are watching the show this evening, and there are many probably over 65, may be veterans, may not be veterans. This is strictly a veteran program.
Yes.
Now, if they're a veteran and they're sitting there at home right now and thinking, I would love this program, can they just walk into your office and say, sign me up?
Unfortunately, to Imani and I specifically, no. We could help certainly with the process, but ideally, if you are interested in doing GeroFit, you would need a referral from your primary care provider. So whomever that may be, just let them know that you're interested in doing GeroFit, and they can place a referral to Imani and I, who then would review that type of consult. But yes, unfortunately, it would have to be a referral. But again, Imani and I can certainly help with that process if there's any questions or concerns, for sure.
I'm sure there could be a lot of questions on that, but having that referral, they don't just walk in and say, look, sign me up.
Right.
Getting that referral should be pretty easy.
Yes.
At least if they're 65 and meet all the other qualifications. So, and again, I can verify this is just a truly outstanding program. And both ladies, as well as the third lady, they take us through the exercise, they keep us healthy, they keep us alive, and that's the key. All the people from Pahrump that are participating, I know all of them. I don't know all the others, but I get to see them on the monitors as well. And I think it's just so important that we do that. But once that referral is put in, how long does it normally take to be accepted in the program?
So once we receive those referrals, we kind of go through them as they come in. And once we go through those and determine your eligibility, we'll give you a call, kind of talk with you about your current exercise regimen, some goals that you're working towards, and then we kind of go from there to set you up for testing and then get you into the program.
This is truly outstanding. And I know we have so many people out there right now that are interested in signing up, and we have so much more information about the GeroFit program. Now, we're going to run out of time on this session, but we'll be coming back in the next session and giving you a lot more information. So be sure to have your pen, pencil, and just take a lot of notes, because I know you want to get in touch with both these ladies and let them know, I'm interested in the GeroFit program. How can I participate? Come back and join us for the next session. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. Now, we were talking about, I guess, referral and getting into the program. Some of you may have missed exactly how the referrals work and the fact that you do need a referral to participate in the program. So, Imani, tell us more about the referral process.
Okay, so all referrals have to be signed off by the primary care provider before you can be enrolled into our program. Anyone can put in these consults. However, the primary care provider must be listed as the responsible person on these consults. Once you have that in, we'll review your information to see if you're eligible. Once we determine your eligibility, we'll give you a call, kind of talk with you about the things that you've been doing, what kind of goals you would like to reach as far as GeroFit. And then after that, we'll schedule a physical assessment to kind of assess where you are with your physical activity.
Can you tell us more about the physical assessment?
Sure. So we will schedule an appointment with you where we will bring you in, and you will go through some questionnaires where we would like to get an idea of your medical history, your physical activity history. Once we complete those questions, we'll take you through some physical function tests where we test out your balance, your upper body strength, your lower body strength, and your endurance to see how you're doing in those areas.
What kind of schedule do you have for the GeroFit program?
So right now, we do have classes Monday through Friday. We have morning classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in person from 9 to 10 and then 10 to 11, followed by our virtual class at 11 to 12 p.m. And then on Thursdays, we have class in the afternoon. So we have in person at 1 p.m. followed by virtual at 2 p.m.
So it's 5 days a week, and we can go ahead and fit it into our schedule however we want.
Yes, so we do recommend 2 to 3 days per week to see the benefits of exercise, but you are able to set up your schedule however you prefer to once you're enrolled into the program.
Now, when you send the information out to us, will we have it in plenty of time to participate in the program?
Oh, yes, for sure. So typically for our virtual classes or in-person classes, you know the schedule beforehand. For those virtual classes, we send out links the week before. So on the Friday before you're set to come into class, we'll send you all the links that you let us know that you wanted, and then you're able to log in during that time to participate.
This is just fantastic, truly fantastic. Now, you did mention that people have to be, or veterans, have to be 65 years of age or older. And you talked about some of those that are under 65. So what happens there, and explain some of those qualifications.
Okay, yes. So if you are not eligible for the program, whether that be due to age or any of those eligibility requirements that you do not meet, we are able to kind of review your information and give you what we call a one-time phone counseling. During this phone call, we will kind of go through some things about, again, what you're doing as far as exercise, some goals you want to reach, what are your limitations or your barriers, those types of things. Okay. And we're able to kind of coach you, so to speak, on how you can do these things independently. So although we may not be there taking you through exercise, we'll give you those things so that you're able to perform them on your own.
So you help us either way.
Yes, sir.
This is just fantastic. How long have you had this program?
So Gerald Fit was started in Las Vegas in October of 2020, right before COVID. Okay. Well, it got started back up after the COVID. So we started in October 2020, so about the 5th year now we're into Gerald Fit here, and it's growing at a big speed here.
Well, when you first started, how many people did you have, or how many veterans participated?
It was a very small number. In 2020, we were seeing about maybe 2 to 4 patients within an in-person class, about the same for virtual. In about 2022, we had 30 veterans enrolled, and we had a major jump in 2022. We jumped up to about 84 veterans going into the year of 2023. So we've been seeing rapid growth. Now we're up to about 150 veterans. Wow. Between our in-person and virtual classes.
Perfect. And that shows that the two of you are doing a lot of recruiting. So how do you manage this recruiting? Do you go out to different areas? Or I know you're here for the show today, and you're letting a lot of people know about this program, but do you go to other places as well?
So right now for recruitment, what we've been doing, we talk a lot with the providers in-house. So at the main VA, we talk to a lot of providers at the clinics in surrounding areas. We've also come out to Pahrump and the Laughlin areas before to let those providers know what's available to the veterans that are in these rural areas.
Now, what kind of challenges would you have with this growth that you're having?
So with growth right now, mostly for our in-person classes, we are having a big challenge with space.
Oh, okay.
We found that most of the veterans do like to come in person because they feel they get the camaraderie and they feel they get a little bit more of a push when they're able to come in person. But space is very much a challenge for us at this time.
What kind of plans do you have to enlarge the space?
So right now we're kind of just talking with leadership, talking with the people around to kind of continue to push for space wherever that may be. So right now we're just kind of talking with them to see if there's a potential of finding more space.
Is there anything that the veterans can do to help you push for this without putting you in jeopardy by saying you told us to do this? But can we help you in any way get this space to enlarge this program?
So I'm going to say yes and no to this. I know definitely a lot of our on-site veterans have already kind of made comments or promoted this to their doctors and other providers. So it has gone up a little bit of the chain of command already. So I know it's in the ears of everybody already. So in that regards, it has been out there. Future assistance with that, maybe not. They do know the struggles that we have. And as Imani has said, we're definitely, it's been a hot topic. And so it's definitely something that they're continuing to look at. Although space is definitely a limitation for a lot of different areas and a lot of different clinics, just because our groups are so large that come on site. That just remains a little bit of the problem for us, but it is always there as a continuous, what can we do? Where can we go? Are there other options?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, because you're growing so fast and you're running out of space, we have to ask the question, how much longer can you allow people to come into the program? Or are you still allowing people to come into the program?
So we have currently halted our consults right now, so we are not accepting any new referrals just because of the challenge of space and that we have so many people enrolled. So we currently aren't accepting any new people as of right now.
Well, those people that are watching this and saying, look, what about me? You know, I need to be part of this. Is there any opportunity for future reopening of the program?
Yes, so we plan on giving out those updates as soon as we have any new updates. But right now, we're just kind of able to give you information about the program.
Okay.
You're always able to check in with your providers to see if they're able to put the consult in as well. And then you can always contact us if needed, and we can give you the information that you may need.
And we've provided the phone numbers or anything else and ways of contacting you if they're interested. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we're going to continue doing that because this is just a fantastic program. Now, when you look at the people virtually, how many people can you monitor virtually? I know we have space limitations of people coming in, but on the virtual, when everybody's watching, how many people can you manage that way?
For virtual, we do have a limit on how many we can see on screen, but we do have 2 providers as well. So if we need to add another screen for providers to be able to see veterans, we're able to do that. But right now, I think it holds up to about,
I want to say about 49.
49 people.
49 on one screen that we'd be able to have into one group session. Before we'd have to say, hey, can we participate on these days because we have more space for screen management and safety management.
Now, with every program that you have, and you talk to each one of us virtually, and I can only talk virtually because I have not done the in-person, other than, I guess, the preliminaries when I first came in. But when I'm talking to you virtually, after we've done all our exercises, you ask us how it benefited us and what numbers we have. Can you explain that very quickly?
Yes. So we use what we call a rate of perceived exertion scale. Now this is a scale of intensity. It's from 0 to 10, and it's just you telling how intense you felt your workout was for that day. So typically when we do any cardio work, we're going to tell you that we want you working at about a 5 or a 6, which is pretty moderate intensity.
Okay.
When we move into any strength training that we do, we're going to kick it up to about a 7 or 8, which is pretty vigorous intensity. So we want to stay at those numbers throughout our workout. And then once we finish, we're going to get your overall rating of how you felt the entire workout was for you on that particular day.
That's fantastic because that way we can evaluate ourselves as we're going along, and you can evaluate us as well.
Yes,
I
very
think
helpful.
this is just fantastic. In running out of time, is there anything else either one of you would like to add so that our audience can understand exactly what Gerald Fit is all about, the benefits and everything else?
I will say from a provider standpoint, it seems the veterans really enjoy being able to work out and coming in for the camaraderie. I will say that's probably the biggest part of the camaraderie. They enjoy getting to talk with their peers, and even though exercise may not always be fun, they seem to always come back.
Yes, and that's the part that we also enjoy is just as much as getting to interact with you guys, and for how often everyone comes in, we get to have that relationship grow. We're seeing you constantly and multiple times a week, and so it just creates a fun atmosphere, and it really makes the job super enjoyable, and that's why we've been doing it for so long, and we enjoy what we do.
Well, I have truly enjoyed having you both on the show this evening, and I hope our viewing audience have looked at this and they're taking notes and they're ready to participate as soon as you have reopening of the Gerald Fit program, and you can take more referrals.
Yes.
So keep on checking. Make sure that if you want a referral, talk to your primary care provider, have them submit that referral, get it in to either Melissa or Imani, and let them know, look, I'm interested in your program. And thank you both for being here.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. For these sessions, I have Linda Wright. Now, most of you already know Linda Wright because she wears so many hats in our community. She's with Holiday Task Force. She's with TWV, Together with Veterans, and I'm going to probably have her list all the other things that she's doing. But that's why you know Linda Wright. But what so many people don't know is the fact that she's the co-chair for the Pahrump Prostate Cancer Support Group. We're talking about the Jim Gregory chapter. And she has taken on this awesome responsibility as well as all the other things that she's involved in. Now, some people ask, why would you need a co-chair when you're talking about a prostate cancer support group, which is a men's or a man's problem? Well, it affects women in so many different ways. The wife, the sister, the friend, it doesn't matter. And it affects them in ways that I was totally unaware of. And I've worked with prostate cancer support groups for many years, but I never thought about it from a woman's point of view until Linda came in and sat down. And that's why we wanted her as the co-chair. She has as much information as I do, but she looks at it from the woman's point of view, and it helps the men and it helps the women. So, Linda, I just want to thank you for coming in this evening, because I know so many people out there, they're interested in exactly what you have to say, and we want to talk more about it. The Prostate Cancer Support Group, let me make that introduction, is the fact that they meet once a month.
Yes.
On the fourth Tuesday from 6 to 7:30, and we meet at the DAV building, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. The DAV building is right down from Petrick Park in Pahrump, and it's just an outstanding way of meeting. Now, we don't meet in November and December because of that fourth week in November, December, we're running into holidays. So we'll be meeting again in January. And in January, we're also looking at meeting on Zoom.
Right.
So even if you're out of the area, and I know a lot of people right now are in Clark County and further parts of Nye County outside of Pahrump, you may not be able to make it to the meeting, but you want to come and meet with us virtually. So we're going to allow you to be able to do that, and we'll have that information in a newspaper. We'll put that information out so that you can join us virtually in any time. But if you have any questions, don't forget to call Linda or call me. Prefer you call Linda.
I don't have anything else to do.
But call either one of us, and we're going to have our numbers posted. Be sure to write those numbers down. And if you have any questions, again, call me, call Linda, and we'll look at it. The other thing I'd like to mention before I turn it over to Linda is the fact that in many cases you're going to see where we're talking about the Prostate Cancer Support Group, and it's called Us Too, saying we are also involved. Us, T-O-O, us too. They've been absorbed somewhat by Zero Cancer because we're trying to eliminate cancer in everybody's life. And it's something that that's our goal. So Zero Cancer is where we are. You'll hear that, but don't be confused or think that we're not looking at the Prostate Cancer Support Group under Us Too. Both programs are meshed together and working well. Now, Linda,
Yes.
as the co-chair and the lady that knows so much about prostate cancer, what is it you want to tell our viewing audience?
Well, I want to tell you, pardon me, one, that 1 in 8 American men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime.
Yep.
And 1 in 5 veterans will get prostate cancer in their lifetime also.
Yep.
And that is a very high statistic. And so every male should get their prostate tested.
And we do that by getting a blood test, PSA.
PSA.
And find out exactly where we are. Now, when I talk about the PSA, I talk about it as a baseline. If you haven't gotten a PSA, a blood test for prostate cancer, I recommend that you get one. The first one that you get is the baseline, and that's going to tell you where you are. If the number is 2, 5, 10, 15, whatever it is, it gives you that baseline. And then a month later or 2 or 3 months later, when you get that again, you want to see if that number changes. If the number changes, if it goes down, things are looking okay. It's telling you, your body is telling you that things are which way it's going. If the numbers are increasing, your body is saying, you need to see a doctor and get this checked out. If the numbers are the same, your body is saying, I'm okay with where we are, and you still want to talk to your doctor and make sure that everything is okay. But if the numbers are high, anything over 3, you want to see a doctor.
Right. Prostate cancer is a cancer that begins in the prostate. And the prostate is a walnut-shaped gland in the male reproductive system. And every 2 minutes, a man is diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Every 2 minutes?
Every 2 minutes.
Wow.
And every 15 minutes, a man dies of prostate cancer.
We don't want any more people to die from prostate cancer. And that's why we're doing what we're doing today.
And other than skin cancers, prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among men. And today there are 3.3 plus million prostate cancer survivors alive in the U.S.
And they're alive because they're taking precautions. Taking precautions to either be a part of a prostate cancer support group or just following up with their doctor to know exactly what's going on in the prostate area.
Right. And 299,010 men are expected to be diagnosed with prostate cancer.
That could be all of you watching this program tonight. If you haven't already been diagnosed, you could be diagnosed. When you get the diagnosis, that's not the time to say, I wonder what's going on. I wonder what I should do. I wonder if I should have surgery, radiation, all the other things that are available. The time to learn about this is now. Find a prostate cancer support group. Come to our prostate cancer support group. Read about prostate cancer. Listen to what Linda has to say. And these are the things that will educate you on so that you know what to do if the diagnosis comes. And if it doesn't come, at least know that you're safe, but also know that your friends, your male friends, could still have the problems. And then you can advise them on seeing their doctor. It's so important that we follow up medically on all of this.
And if you don't get treated, they estimate that 35,250 men are expected to die from prostate cancer this year alone if we're not getting diagnosed and treatments.
You know, the worst thing is when we hear over and over about men who have passed away and they don't know why. If they look into it, I'm talking about movie stars and some of the other famous people who have passed away, the men, in many cases, is because of prostate cancer, or they've had prostate cancer. Maybe it wasn't the cause of death, but at the same time, you need to know where you are as far as prostate cancer goes.
Right. And if caught early enough, more than 99% of people men diagnosed with prostate cancer will be alive in 5 years.
I have to say, as a prostate cancer survivor, I'm very fortunate to have been introduced to a prostate cancer support group early on. And I'm very thankful for that. But even though, like I said earlier, I've worked on it for many years while I was in Germany and here in Pahrump. But I thought I knew a lot about prostate cancer and how it affected families. But until Linda became part of our group, I didn't know all of how it impacted women. how it impacts my wife, how it impacts my sisters. These people, the families, are impacted as well. So Linda brought a lot to the prostate cancer support group that she and the other women that are coming to our meetings are sharing. And it's educating a lot of the men on the effects of prostate cancer on the family.
And things you can do is know your risk, your race, your family history, your aging, your diet, your gene changes, and your chemical exposure. And chemical exposure comes into play with being a veteran, because you were exposed to all those things in war, overseas, Vietnam, Afghanistan, all the different wars, all those chemicals they sprayed. So that's why they say 1 in 5 veterans will be diagnosed. And so you're asked to take the quiz, take the risk quiz. Are you Black, African American? Are you a veteran? Did your father or brother have prostate cancer? Are you over the age of 50? Do you consume a high-fat diet? Those are all risk questions that you should ask yourself. And then we talk about the screening also in our meetings. The National Comprehensive Cancer Network recommends that Black men and those with a family history should begin talking to the doctors about screening as early as age 40, even younger, because we even push that when you're in high school, you should start getting your screening. Men at average risk should start the discussion at age 45 or even younger.
And you know, with all the information that Linda's giving you, please write this down. Be aware of everything that's going on. Now, we're running out of time on this session, but we're going to be coming back for the next session, and we want you to join us and be ready to get this information. Welcome back for our final session. We're talking about prostate cancer support group. I'm here with Linda Wright. She's the co-chair of the Pahrump prostate cancer support group. And I've emphasized over and over how important it is for us to understand what's going on and how much I admire Linda coming in and helping us understand the impact to the women and the women in our lives about prostate cancer. So, Linda, what is it we're going to talk about this session?
Well, this session I wanted to talk a little bit about treatment and options.
Okay.
And so if prostate cancer is diagnosed, your doctor will determine the extent or the stage you're at and give you a grade. That's the Gleason score of the cancer. And this information helps to identify the best treatment options for your situation. And learning all you can about your treatment options and finding the right prostate cancer care team will help you make the most informed decisions about your cancer.
You know, the worst thing is, and I get several phone calls where somebody said, I was just diagnosed with prostate cancer, what should I do?
Right.
And my comment is, I wish you had already started by coming to the realizing what's going on and getting all of this information that we can provide. We don't provide any medical advice or anything like that, other than the fact that we want you to get a blood test, get a PSA, we'll say that. But as far as giving medical advice, that's not something we do. I am not a medical doctor. My title, Dr. Waters, is for education. I have a doctorate of education. Nothing to do with medicine. So with that, when we talk about prostate cancer, this is something that we have learned. We have people in our meetings that have gone through it. That's where the experience comes in, and that's what you need to know if you're diagnosed with prostate cancer.
We're just there to guide you.
That's
and
right.
Be a sounding board and be your friend.
Yes.
And help you through your journey. So many treatments for prostate cancer can cause side effects that are disruptive, such as urinary incontinence and erectile dysfunction. But consider all of your options before deciding on a plan, especially if diagnosed with slow-growing cancer that is not aggressive. And so treatment options can include active surveillance. Local therapies are surgery, radiation, high-intensity focused ultrasound, cryotherapy. Systematic therapies are hormone therapy, immunotherapy, targeted therapy, radiopharmaceuticals, chemotherapy, and clinical trials.
You know, with everything you just mentioned, and there is so much to all of that. I don't think anybody has an answer for everything Linda just mentioned. However, when you come to our meetings, there's somebody there that can say, oh yes, this is what I went through. And if you have some of the same symptoms, it can definitely help you may have a plan on what you should do. We also say over and over that everybody is different. So no matter if two people have identical symptoms, it doesn't mean the effects and everything else is going to be identical. So everybody is different, understand that, but at least you'll have some idea of exactly what to expect. And that's the best part of knowledge. Knowledge is power. And not having that knowledge, it can put you in a bad place, and we don't want you there. As Linda said earlier, we're there to guide you, we're there to help you, we're there to be a friend.
Right. Your doctor and care team should be open to any questions you have regarding your diagnosis, and they should be fully supportive of any second opinions you might wish to speak of.
Absolutely.
Seek. And questions that you might have for your doctor are, what is the stage of my cancer? Mm-hmm. And has my cancer spread? And if so, how far has it spread? Has it spread to any other parts of my body? How aggressive is this cancer? And what are all of my treatment options? And what are possible side effects of such treatment? And should I get a second opinion?
I would say you would always want that second opinion, always. Number one, if you're talking to a surgeon is ready to perform surgery. If you're talking to an oncologist, they may have a different idea of what you should do. So a second opinion in a different area is always appropriate. Don't feel that you're insulting anybody's intelligence by asking for a second opinion. Once you make a decision, that decision, according to Tom Waters, is the right decision. You never want to make a decision, proceed with something and say, I really messed up. If you get enough information, whatever decision you make, you're leading with that, that's the rest of your life. You've made the right decision, you're going to live with it, so accept it. But don't make any hasty decisions. Don't make a decision based on just one person telling you this is what you should do. Make an intelligent, educated decision. And that's what Linda was going through. All the different opportunities and all the different procedures and all the different things that you can be guided on and advised on may or may not be for you. So you just need to know which is going to work and which is just a waste of time.
And once you have completed your treatment, talk with your doctor about your follow-up plan. Find out what tests are recommended and how often you need to return for screening. It is important to stay on top of your screenings. Ask about a treatment summary. This is a convenient way to record your diagnosis and any treatment decisions you and your care team may have to fight the disease. A treatment summary is helpful too for any doctor who cares for you during your lifetime. Life after treatment for prostate cancer may be different from before you were diagnosed. And remember, you are not alone. More than 3.1 million men are living with prostate cancer in the U.S. Continue talking to your healthcare providers about nutrition, physical therapy, ongoing side effects, and how you can not only survive, but thrive. And remember, we're always here to help.
And we are the Pahrump Valley Prostate Cancer Support Group. We are the Jim Gregory chapter. We're located in Pahrump. We meet the fourth Tuesday each month except November and December because of the holidays. And in January, we'll be ready to start again. So if you'd like to come to the meetings, give us a call. We'll put you on the list to send out when we send out information, and you'll receive exactly when we meet, what's going on with us. And again, fourth Tuesday from 6 to 7:30. We only meet an hour and a half. In January, we plan to start meeting again via Zoom. And so we'd like to see you there to provide this information, provide the comfort that you're going to need, provide the comfort to your family, and also know that how it impacts the rest of the family. And that's why we have Linda as co-chair to help us understand how it impacts women. Prostate cancer is a man's disease, but it definitely impacts the women in our lives. And we need to understand how it impacts them. And we would never know that without Linda and her expertise in providing that, in helping us.
So why should you join a support group? Well, every prostate cancer diagnosis is unique. Members of the support group often have similar feelings and concern, and joining a support group may benefit those dealing with prostate cancer by improving understanding of prostate cancer treatment and side effects, helping with feelings of loneliness, isolation, and fear, providing practical feedback about treatment options, having open and honest discussions, reducing distress, depression, anxiety, or fatigue, giving members a sense of empowerment and hope, learning from others who have been there and done that. And every person benefits from our support group and other support groups in different ways. And we'd like to give you that one-on-one support that our support group can give you. And so we invite you to come join us. And we invite veterans and non-veterans to come to this support group. And we invite the women also, the spouses, the sisters, the mothers, the significant others, because the men need you on their journeys. And so we want all the support that we can give them.
That is so factual. Another thing that they've done nationwide is we've looked at all the prostate cancer support groups across the country, and there are some that have a large population of veterans, military veterans, and for that reason, we have a lot of information about veterans and how it impacts veterans. As Linda was talking about how it impacts the veterans, sometimes over those non-veterans. Now, what they have done is look at all the prostate cancer support groups across the country and in Canada to find out which ones have a large population of veterans. And there are just a small number. The Pahrump Prostate Cancer Support Group happened to be one of those that emphasized, because we have a large population of veterans. So we're going to be giving a lot of information about how it impacts veterans, how it impacts their families, and so on. So again, we want to encourage you to come to our meetings the fourth Tuesday each month, except November and December. We meet at the DAV building, which is the town annex for the town of Pahrump. It's down at the end of Petrick Park, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you in January, because that's when we're going to have our next meeting. Linda, is anything you'd like to add in closing? And
I will be starting a care group for women so that they will learn how to support their the men. So
okay.
Come join us.
Come and join us. Thank you.